A warm welcome to A Lift to Work with Tina and Kate, a coaching podcast by two healthcare professionals and friends. We are nurses, master NLP coaches, hypnotherapists. We're also mums and jugglers of many commitments, just like you.
You are in for a treat. We will share informal coaching tips, coping strategies, and how to effectively change your mindset. So hop on board with us for a lift to work.
See you in a minute. Hello, welcome to A Lift to Work.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kate.
And I'm Tina.
And today we're looking at it. We don't know who's going to start. We've gone out of order today, everybody.
We've had a little break, but we're back. We're back. Yes, what are we going to be talking about today, Kate?
So today, oh my God, you are going to love this topic, everybody. Mood hoovers. What to do with a mood hoover.
Yeah,
Tina,
now,
what's a mood hoover?
Exactly. Well, it might be, if you imagine a Hoover or vacuum cleaner, depending where you live, then, you're imagining something sucking up the dirt. Well, mood Hoovers suck up all the positivity in the room. And if you ever have watched something that me and Kate do rather like, which is what's it called, Kate? What you do?
What we do in the shadows.
Yeah.
There's a character called Colin Robinson, and like people refer to him as Colin Robinson. Hello, Colin Robinson.
Yeah.
Like, you all need to watch it, at least one episode, because it's hilarious, but not with children. For the love of all things, please do not watch it when the children are around.
Yes, it's a bit spicy in places, but it's all about vampires and what they do in their everyday. And most of them are your conventional vampires, but Colin Robinson is a mood vampire because he's an emotional vampire.
Yes. And if you want to know what Colin Robinson sounds like, Colin Robinson sounds like this, and he's going to describe everything to you. And he sucks the life out of you and drains it away because he is so boring, because he knows everything about, well, that's enough of that, isn't it? So, but you get the idea.
Yes, so Colin has one tone and knows everything about all subjects and will talk forever. So basically, we may have worked with mood hoovers in our lives. I'm sure a few people can think of their workplace, for example, and some mood hoovers that might hang out there. And sometimes it's that kind of thing. It's that boring monologue, and every time they contribute, it's in that way. Or it could be that they are just negative. So every time a suggestion is made, they go, "Oh, well, yeah, well, we tried that, but it didn't work, or that won't work, and here's all 100 reasons why." And bring the mood of the team down. Or it could just be that the team are just going about their every day and all feeling quite chipper and have a good plan for the day, and somebody's bought in a cake for lunchtime or whatever, and the mood hoover will appear and go, "Oh, the traffic's terrible. Oh, there's roadworks on the A39, and oh, everyone's gonna be really difficult today, and I thought it was gonna be sunny, but it's not."
Yeah, and is that cake gluten-free? Because I can't eat gluten. It has to be gluten-free. And like, listeners, I know that you are laughing right now because you're like, oh my word, yes. How are we going to deal with them, Tina?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? I think the tips we're going to talk about is like at that higher level, like organizationally, what can you do from a human resource people angle, but also maybe what we can do in our day to day. That sounds like a good idea.
Yes.
So I suppose one of the things is, if you're in a position not to recruit them, then don't. Often it comes across the interview that this person is a match, like along the lines of all the qualifications they have for your organization or team, but they clearly are not a people match. And a good question to tease that out is something like, tell us of a time you've dealt with a difficulty or conflict with a colleague and how you resolved it.
It's interesting, isn't it, to see what they're gonna come out with, and especially the recruitment process, because that's where you're gonna weed them. Because
Mhm.
most of the time, it will be the people that you're working with. As in, if I'm going for an interview, it'll be people who I'm going to be working with that will interview me.
Mm.
So it's knowing the rest of your team
Yeah,
as well, isn't it?
yeah. So
Yes.
sort of screening them out, and then in the day-to-day of the team is just nipping that negativity in the bud. You know,
Mm.
there's always a time and a place to invite critique. So if you're sharing an idea, there's a time and a place to say what could go amazingly well with Kate's idea to move all our desks around and what might be problematic. And that is permission to say, well, it might be a problem because I don't like to be by the window, I get a stiff neck in the breeze, whatever. So you've invited a space for it. But if you've not been invited to be negative, then that needs to be nipped in the bud.
And it's really hard, isn't it? Especially when you're in a caring profession, like a health profession, where you don't like to make
Mm.
people feel uncomfortable, or because that makes you feel uncomfortable. So if you don't want that whole confrontational shut up thing, you can get them to reframe
Mm.
and reframe the situation. So um, if they're feeling, let's just say they're particularly negative about something, reframe the question. So, how could this be better?
Mm.
And also with that, stick a time frame on it. So instead of how could we make this better, say, okay, so we have got 2 minutes. Tell me in 2 minutes how we can make it better. Because then you've given them, you've given yourself, let's be honest, an exit.
Yeah. Because I think you make a really good point about time constraining folks like this, because for whatever reason, their brain works in a way that it takes them a very long time to get to the point. And that's often why they're a Colin Robinson, because they are, maybe if you can weed through the gripes, there is a point in there somewhere that's valid. But the fact that it takes 15 minutes to make a point that could be made in two is what switches everybody off, and they start looking out the window and making their shopping list for tonight. So
Yes.
the other thing, like you say about the reframes, is using humor. An example from my life would be, walking, and this is a real example, walking into a clinical setting where a lot of the patients at the time had a lot of needs. They needed a lot of hoisting, they needed a lot of help with their movement. And the nurse in question said, oh, I'm down that end, as in I'm looking after those patients, and they're all heavy, as in they all have a lot of needs, and I'm going to have to use the hoist a lot. And I said, oh gosh, yeah, imagine the patients looking at us and going, oh, I've got the miserable nurses today. I said, so come on, guys, yeah, sometimes, people have a lot of needs, but imagine if you had those needs. And you're
Mm,
sitting there in that bed and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to ring my bell because, the nurses look unhappy when they come to me. And I know it takes a lot of time with me because I need a hoist to move. Imagine being in that situation. So come on,
yeah.
do it with a glad heart. And
Mm,
if we have put them all in the same location, we may be able to think about that, because maybe we need to spread it across the whole
yeah.
ward environment. So the person, in a funny old way, was making a good point in a utterly miserable mood hoover way. But yeah, there was a reframe in there was a bit of humor in there, and there was like, okay, maybe we need to do something practically different.
Yeah. And I'm just going to twist it a little bit. So those people that go on and on and on and on about and don't make their point, or don't make their point well, just consider if when you're listening to them, do they have it, or is there an influence from a neurodiverse perspective?
Mm.
Because I have worked with people on the spectrum, people with some neurodiversity, and that's just how they communicate, because that's what they do. It's just different to us. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just different. So it's taking that into account as well, and perhaps teasing the information,
Mm.
gently teasing the information.
Yeah.
I understand it can be frustrating when you're sat there.
Yeah, and
Ah,
I think however your mind operates, and you're making such a good point about neurodiversity, however your mind operates, it doesn't negate you having feedback about how you land, because anyone has got to socialize and work with a whole bigger group of people. So, has anyone ever told these individuals how they come across? And have they got a frame of reference for what's better than that? So, it's about that, giving that feedback and saying, I don't know if anyone has ever spoken to you about some of the behavior that you have and how it affects colleagues. It's consistently moaning people probably need to be told by somebody that this is what's happening. This is a habit that you have. And it's not that you're a bad person, so be really careful, like Kate said. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's just this behavior of moaning every time you come to work is not helping the situation. And here's another way of looking at it, and signposting to role models who don't do that. And that could be you. So show what great behavior looks like.
Yeah. And I'm going to stick a little story in here. It may or may not make you laugh, but our eldest has watched What We Do in the Shadows. She is very much a Colin Robinson a lot of the time. Not because she likes boring stuff, because she very likes her Star Wars and Doctor Who and all of that. So she's a little bit of a geek, and I love her for it. Oh, but she don't half go on, Tina. To the point where you're like, husband and I, we like fall over on the sofa after she sucked all the energy out of us. We do it in jest, because we call her Colin Robinson when she does it, because she knows, and it makes her laugh.
Yeah.
But it's being mindful not to piss on anyone's parade, for want of a better word, because obviously she loves all of this stuff.
Yeah.
It gives her joy.
Yeah.
She also sucks our joy.
Yeah.
But you know where I'm coming from?
It's kind of like finding a mutually okay space for this stuff, isn't it? So they get to express themselves and all the things they're interested in whilst not driving us all nutty. Yeah. So that's one of the things, is show what great behavior looks like, and just kind of keep the dialogue going, keep the conversation going, because I think there are people who are mood hoovers who still have valid points to make. They just don't do it maybe in the most interesting way. And just keep that, just have a shorthand for it. There was a team there are a few mood hoovers in this team that I used to work with years ago in the community. And the community team they'd all gather and they'd be like quite chipper. And then all of a sudden somebody would appear and start moaning about the travel or whatever. And the whole mood of the team, you could see it come down. And I would just joke and say, oh, no, not the vortex of doom. So, and, we would all start laughing and we'd say, come on, guys, we need to look after each other and just put some energy into our work. So I think humour can sometimes really help.
Yeah. And also not being afraid to walk away. Make your apologies and say, I'm sorry I have to be here. See you later.
Yeah.
Not like, sorry I have to be here with you, but sorry, I have to be somewhere else.
I have to be somewhere else, or can we have this conversation another time, or whatever. And
self-preservation.
Find a way to pause them and move on. So we hope those little tips about mood hovers have been helpful. Bit humour, bit of reframing, and so on, really. Good luck with it all.
Yes. And if you are stuck with what to watch, on an evening, and you will binge watch it, What We Do in the Shadows, we don't get any money or royalties for saying that, but you should watch it. So I have been Kate,
and I've been Tina,
And you've been listening to
You
Lift
have
to
been
Work.
listening to A Lift to Work with Tina and Kate. Please do like, subscribe, give it stars, let us have your suggestions, all the good things. And do remember, if you have a medical condition or anything we've covered in this podcast has left you concerned, then this is a fun podcast and it's not meant to be treatment. So please do go and seek all the help you need from medical professionals. Take care, everyone. We hope you are enjoying A Lift to Work.